Hi, my name is Stephen Diebold, and today's topic we're going to be talking about. I'm going to make 3 points here, and basically it's going to be on the nurturance effect on self esteem. That's the first point. The second point is going to be what food people use for self esteem to fill themselves up. And then the third one I'm going to make is the end result of creating a false self to survive, to get fed if you can't. So let's just title this really quickly Self Esteem, and let's get right into this. So what I'm going to be doing is just making this very simple so you can all understand. Is I'm going to be using what's called a causal relationship loop. Okay, so basically what's that real simple thing to understand is this A's effect on B, right? So if I look at that, I'm going to draw like a little loop here of this. And so let's make this loop. Let's first say nurturance here, so we first understand what A is. Okay, and then B is going to be self-esteem. So we're going to draw a causal loop, which is they call the systemic thinking, if you will. And so what I want to show here is I want to show as I make this. This is a loop here. And basically, what happens is if this loop continues to go in a circular fashion over and over again, and it produces the same result over here on this, if this keeps in a circular fashion, and this keeps increasing and doesn't change because this keeps increasing, you get what down here. We'll make this little bar chart here. Let's put this down here. Just make this little bar chart, and I'll change the color here so we get a little better thing here. And let's just say this is the effect of what? Let's call this is the self-esteem levels, right? And then this we'll call along here, along this path, is nurturance. So what we're looking at are these basically these two, uh, you know, levels here, and we're looking at A and B. So as we look at this, if this were a line and when this kept going up and up and up and up, you would see as I increase nurturance in this direction, that positive self-esteem goes up too. That's the basic concept here to understand how this works. So that's nurturance effect on self-esteem. Now here's what basically happens though is if we look at food, like let's just say this is an apple, and you had maybe a banana, or some other types of food, whatever food it is you want to call it. We'll use that as a metaphor. You have this good food, and then you have junk food. So let's say we have a pizza, right? And this is like a bad pizza, but let's just say that's a pizza. And let's say as well on top of that you had some other junk food. Let's say a can of soda, whatever. So this is junk food. Okay. So the quick point I want to make here is the types of food that we stick in and use. The good food would be positive reinforcing relationships. Positive relationships, people that nurture us in a way that helps us feel good about ourselves and reinforces our positive feelings of self. So that's a good food. And over here on the junk food, you might have something like popularity. You might have something like drugs. You might have something like, let's say, fame. Uh, let's say people admiration. So we have admiration. So you have those three things there, and those are the junk food. These are things that are external and out of your control. These things are also a bit external, but they're also internal, because the relationship you have with yourself is also a positive regard for oneself. That's good food. That's how you're getting nurtured. But this is a little bit better external source, even though it's non-controllable outside of your ability to control internally. It's still a positive food to eat. So really quickly, I just want to make this quick connection here. If you have these external things here that you cannot control, and you're reliant upon those for your food, that's junk food. It's not going to last very long. So as you try to nurture yourself with this junk food, with these types of things where you're getting fed, they won't last very long and it won't produce a very positive result. If you instead feed yourself with the good food here, and you move over here for positive relationships, other things that are good for you, that is like positive self-talk, all the way to anything that makes you reinforces yourself, which would be authentic behavior, which is you being honest. So if you're honest and real with yourself, that's also a good way to nurture yourself because you're being authentic. So as you nurture yourself with that, you can see this connection here, this positive nurturance shoots up the self-esteem. Okay, so my last point here that I want to make really quickly before I run out of time is the end result of creating a false self is if you are not getting fed over here, if you're trying to feed yourself with the junk food, or you can't even get it on the good healthy food, what happens is people create this false self, and so they try to modify themselves in such a way to get these things that they want they cannot get, so they become inauthentic. And they start doing behaviors that basically try to create a false identity, if you will, of somebody that they are not in order to be accepted. And so once they start doing that, they start engaging in that type of behavior, they basically create a whole new person that tries to get fed in these ways, and they don't know it. It's very unconscious. So the goal here, the point I want to make here really quickly before I run out of time is it's better to nurture yourself on positive, good food, which is being yourself, being authentic, being real, surrounding yourself with positive external relationships that reinforce and support you and push your nurturance levels up in that way, because those are positive things that are good for you that you have a little more control over, especially being authentic. When you're moving over here on the junk side and you're trying to seek external things, popularity, fame, you're trying to basically show off with symbols like cars and money and houses and things like that in order to gain some type of fame, popularity, or what we call status here. If you're trying to go after those types of things and get fed that way, and you're creating this false self, eventually this will all implode over here and it'll all blow up, and you won't go very far, and you'll basically spiral downwards, and your self-esteem will go down if you're not able to achieve any of these types of things or get fed in these ways. Your self-esteem will be on a roller coaster, versus if you are over on this side feeding yourself with a little more consistent type things and good food, your self-esteem won't be on such a teeter-totter or a roller coaster, if you will. Okay, so that's it. Until the next video, we'll talk a little bit more about the false self and its impact on people when they try to engage in that. Okay, great. Thank you.